Okay, let me be honest for a second. I didn't think that I would make a video on the OnePlus Nord because I'm not really a fan of their hype-based marketing. But a couple of things came to my head which I would like to share in this video. Now, I'm not going to talk about the specs or camera or anything particular about the OnePlus Nord, so if you're looking for that, then this is not going to be that video. But it kind of takes me back to OnePlus's roots in a way. Let me explain. The year is 2014. An ambitious new company named OnePlus comes up with a phone which is weirdly named OnePlus One. Right around the time when I was looking for a new phone, I hear about this ambitious new phone company that's making a phone with incredible hardware at a relatively affordable cost. It's trying to be an enthusiast brand which everyone goes to and gets devoted to it forever. And I kind of like it. But the only reason why I didn't buy a OnePlus One when I had the chance was because I was concerned with the after-sales service. OnePlus was a new brand and India isn't really known for its reliable customer service with every company. Only big players like Samsung, Apple and other companies offer reliable service, and well, pretty much everything else was non-existent, at least back in 2013-2014 era. But despite that, OnePlus did manage to create a huge wave of excitement because they were that smartphone company which no one else was daring to be. Partnering up with open source brands like CyanogenMod and giving the control back to its users, OnePlus was definitely going on bold, uncharted territories when it comes to smartphone making and commercializing. Of course, there were these annoying invite systems where you had to get an invite just to buy the phone, but still it had that special novelty feel to it, so people didn't mind it as long as they could get their hands on one. And then OnePlus 2 comes out without the CyanogenMod OS which made the phone popular. That leaves some people upset, but at least OnePlus didn't take away the customization and the absolute power that CyanogenMod brought. They basically took everything that CyanogenMod had to offer and created their own Hydrogen OS, or a worldwide version which is popularly known as Oxygen OS. It's still one of the best UIs out there and definitely among my top 3 preferred UIs. Again, consumer-centric and bold. That was OnePlus's defining move. Where every other flagship company was busy making the phone look shiny and expensive and try to make as much money as possible, OnePlus invested their time and energy into making practical designs, listening to people and closely relying on their community for feedback. I already respected OnePlus for the choices that they made with the OnePlus One, and now I loved them even more with the OnePlus 2. With the OnePlus 3, the excitement kept going with their unique metallic design, which is much more polished now, and also the introduction of 6GB RAM, which was a pretty early feat for a smartphone back then. And then of course Dash Charge. That left many people, including myself, speechless and absolutely amazed at this little company's ability to deliver mind-blowing hardware at this price. But then they confused everyone with the 3T just a couple of months later, but with necessary upgrades. They said they want to deliver the latest tech to their consumers as soon as it's available to them, and not wait for year after year refresh cycles. Now, while I respect their decision to be an enthusiast-level spontaneous brand, I could see how it left some of the new OnePlus 3 owners a little bit sad, because 3T is now slightly a better version of it in essentially the same price. I wouldn't really call that a bad decision by any means, but the coming phones after that, the OnePlus 5, 5T, they slowly started moving past the consumer-centric spontaneous design to becoming more of a corporate body like their parent company Oppo. We saw them copying designs from Oppo's mid-range phones into their flagship killers and then slowly increasing the price tag. That was about the time when I completely lost interest in OnePlus. I thought they have become just another corporate brand trying to make shiny phones and make some money out of it. And I wasn't wrong. Many people shared my belief even up until OnePlus 6T, where the company kept trying to push out incremental upgrades while making pretty good phones but at not so justifiable prices anymore. They were not the flagship killer that they set out to be, and they were not certainly accessible to everyone the way they were when they started off with the OnePlus One. Now after the 7T and the 7T Pro, I was completely off with OnePlus and I didn't even bother to check their 8 and 8 Pro. I honestly don't know what are the specs and improvements and what does that phone offer, because I am that uninterested in OnePlus. Until I realized the OnePlus Nord was going to be a budget-centric phone with everything that you could ask for, basically. Now, while OnePlus hasn't really fixed their hype-based marketing, because clearly it's working for them, and I don't really blame them for doing whatever they can to get their name and phones out, but here I see genuine enthusiasm and effort to try to go back to their original roots of being the phone company that's making high-quality phones for everyone to be able to afford without really sacrificing much. Now, while I'm not a big fan of the design, where I think the company could have made something better instead of just borrowing it from Oppo as usual, But I am happy that they are trying to switch things around and not just make premium flagship phones at premium prices anymore. I mean, clearly, those who liked the OnePlus One mostly aren't gonna like the OnePlus 8 Pro, but they will probably like the OnePlus Nord for its philosophy and what it stands for. The company is basically making a statement that yes, we are a premium company now making premium phones, but hey look, we are making high quality mid-range phones as well, so we are not completely off the charts as a not consumer centric company anymore. And to me, even though the phone is of no particular interest, the very fact that they try to make a budget phone, or rather a budget-centric phone, it's a pretty exciting news. I mean, I personally think that that's the direction the company should have been heading towards, but it's good to see that they're finally making some efforts to the same. Now, the company says that they were waiting for the technology to catch up to their levels in the mid-range segment. Okay, whatever. I mean, that may or may not be a legitimate reason, but at least they're getting into this budget segment now. And while their choice of hardware isn't anything particularly exciting to me, the fact that they're trying to retain their enthusiast image, it really means a lot to me being an ex-OnePlus fan. Now, I've never owned a OnePlus device and I probably never will in the nearby future, but I can at least start recommending OnePlus phones again, thanks to the phones like the OnePlus Nord. If the company continues in the same direction and starts innovating their own design once again, then yeah, they've won me back and I'll start cheering for them once again. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who says that. Anyway, kudos to OnePlus on coming up with the OnePlus Nord. It's a great phone. What do you think about the OnePlus and the latest OnePlus Nord? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. And with that said, until next time, take good care of yourself. I'll see you soon. Cheers.